Hello, welcome. My name is Giovanni Gonzalez, and today's conversation and training is how to unleash the power of your team. We will be covering 5 shifts to create a high performing team and a culture where people love what they do so that you can double or even triple your profits. Now, usually a webinar will start with me sharing a little bit about myself and how I have done this and that, but I'm just going to get to the good stuff right from the start. Now, it's important that we cover first who this is for. This is for business owners or team leaders who feel stuck with the performance of their teams and have a big vision to fulfill. If you're looking to create an environment where people take responsibility for their actions and communicate effectively so you can scale the business and cut costs, this is for you. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to be sharing with you how to leverage the static potential of your team to double or even triple your business, even if you think that they don't have the education or the training or capacity to go after a bold new future. How to save thousands and potentially millions of dollars by having your team work together and fix poor communication practices that lead to conflict and silos within the company. How to create an environment where people truly enjoy what they do and they're excited for new challenges. So they're willing and open to do what is needed and help you grow quicker and increase profits. How to align your team to work in the same direction and create processes and procedures that allow for the scalability and cut unnecessary costs for the company rather than everybody pulling in different directions. And how to save you time and avoid stress by connecting people to the long-term vision. And if necessary, they will naturally step aside rather than create a toxic environment around them. Now, here's my promise to you. 5 shifts to create a high-performing team and a culture where people love what they do, so you double or even triple your profits. But before we get to the good stuff, let me check in with you real quickly and see where you're at. Are you secretly frustrated that your team is pulling in different directions and they're not working together, which is sabotaging the growth of the company? Are you worried that if you go on vacation, your business will crumble and important things won't get done? Could you be losing thousands of dollars by having to train and retrain new employees for the same position, which is seriously hurting your profits? Are you worried that you could be losing key employees to the competition because the environment is not retaining great talent? Are you frustrated because time is wasted and people don't communicate effectively and everybody's constantly putting out fires? Do you see other business owners who have a great team all in the same page and you wish you could have the same? Here's the big question. Are you secretly worried that you've reached a ceiling for the legacy of your business and your income potential? If any of that sounds like you, then I have some good news. None of these things are the real problem. They're just the symptoms. The real problem is that you haven't done what I call the shifts. But once you make them, you will have a team working together and anticipating problems that can solve and save you thousands and even millions of dollars every single year. You'll have finally a breakthrough in those barriers to solve problems that have been causing you stress for years and feel like business is fun and easy again. You will have your team taking responsibility for how they communicate rather than creating silos and really a gossip-driven culture, because that's what becomes a gossip-driven culture. You will have an environment where people and your team is no longer having to concentrate to put out fires every day, micromanage every process, and go to work feeling stressed in the morning before they even get to work. You'll be able to go on vacation, visiting your favorite places, spending time with those you love without worrying about the business and the customers and where the things are getting done. Now, before we get too much farther, let me take 2 seconds to introduce myself, to let you know who I am and why the hell should you be listening to me. My name is Giovanni Gonzalez. I am known as a transformational leadership coach. In other words, for over 12 years, I've been mentoring business leaders, community leaders, and entrepreneurs to elevate their performance of their teams and positively influence others and create a high-performing team around them. Our work has ranged from working with companies that have over 20,000 employees on how to create a high-performing culture to working with companies that have a team of 5 individuals committed to making a difference and leaving a legacy. We've helped dozens of entrepreneurs and business leaders grow from 5 figures to 6 figures, from 6 figures to 7 figures, and many businesses double and triple their revenues by accessing and leveraging the pool of talent that they already have within their teams. Our specialty is to align teams to create an environment for breakthrough thinking and deliver breakthrough results. So let me take a second to share with you how I discovered the 5 shifts. Over the years, I've had a chance to work on 3 different continents, on over 30 different industries, ranging from high-tech engineering firms that deliver programs for the government, for the Defense Department, very large marketing consulting companies, construction companies, police departments, financial services, government institutions for different countries, non-profit organizations, Fortune 500 companies, and family businesses, touching the lives of thousands of people while training how to create an environment for breakthrough thinking and high performance. Here's the thing. Regardless of the industry or the size of the business, there were 5 things as a common denominator among the highest producing teams that other teams weren't doing. And when I started sharing with all of my clients these 5 shifts, they started producing unbelievable results a lot faster, and most importantly, with a team that enjoys what they do and they're proud of working for their company. The bottom line is this. There are 5 key shifts that you must make to take your business to a new level and access the unlimited potential already waiting to be unleashed with the team you already have. I'm going to walk you through all 5 of them on this session. Shift number 1. Communication is everything. Let me explain what I mean. Have you ever told someone exactly what to do and they did something else? All the time. We are social creatures. We're talking all the time. That's what we do. However, most of us fail to see that if we were going to look at high performance from the outside with a magnifying glass, all that we see is people talking. Nothing happens outside of a conversation with another human being. This is a real blind spot for most business leaders. We invest in CRMs, analyze reports, we do marketing research, but nothing happens until we talk to another human being. You must invest time and resources to understand the principles for effective communication. Now, creating a high-performing culture is not about paying the most money. People think that they can't afford great talent. It's not true. It is about the leader. It is about who's guiding the conversation. Great people stay to an environment, a culture, and to a vision more than to a paycheck. Here's critical. This is critical. People follow people before they follow a vision. People follow people before they follow a vision. Make sense? Salesforce recently came out with an important statistic about why teams fail in the short and long run. And they say that 86% of corporate executives, educators, and employees cite ineffective communication and poor collaboration as reasons for failure in the workplace. David Grossman reported the cost of poor communication that a survey of 400 companies with 100,000 employees each cited an average loss per company of $62.4 million per year because inadequate communication between employees. Now, Deborah Hamilton asserted in her article, Top 10 Email Blunders That Cost Companies Money, she said that miscommunication cost even smaller companies of 100 employees an average of $420,000 per year. Miscommunication costs companies with 100 employees an average of $420,000 per year. You got to look for yourself. Well, what's the financial impact of people pulling in their own direction in your team, right? Here's the challenge. For the most part, people get to leadership positions because they were good at something. They were good at doing something and they got a promotion. Now they're a manager. However, the skills to develop to become good at something and the skills to develop to positively influence others to become good at something, to become excellent in their craft, is completely different skills. Shift number 1 points to the source of creating a high-performing environment. Leaders tend to sabotage their progress when they don't fully capture this shift. People follow people before they follow a vision means that instead of looking outward to attract better talent, one needs to look inward to see who's doing the attracting. Or like my mentor used to say, one needs to look inward to see who's retaining the talent. You must invest in learning how to communicate effectively. This is not intuitive. There's a big difference between talking and connecting. And when creating a high-performing team, you must look at the communication as the most important aspect to master. Make sense? Let's go to shift number 2. Leverage your team's potential. Now, let me be clear. This does not mean become good at delegating. That's not what I mean. Here's what I mean. Write this down or make a mental note. This will make you and save you millions. Ready? People support what they create. Have you noticed that time management and priority workshops don't work unless people feel in some way that they're part of the process of creating where the ship is going? McKinsey, among the largest consulting companies in the world, did a study on teams. And the result were that 97% of employees and executives believe that lack of alignment within a team impacts the outcome of a task or a project. Shift number 2 points to the unspoken barrier to creating a high-performing environment. Most leaders struggle to understand why their teams don't align or buy into a new initiative or a new direction, even though everyone seems to be committed to the company. This principle is simple. People support what they create. Zig Ziglar, one of my business heroes and mentors who I had a chance to meet, said, "People are not lazy. They're just not inspired." But once you discover a way to have them see your vision as their vision, the tide will turn and the impact to your business will be unprecedented. I want you to meet King Roof. Now, King Roof is a roofing company and a remodeling company. When they came to us as a core team, they were pulling in different directions. And they weren't sure if they were right for each other. You know, they were at that time where they weren't sure if they were going to continue being in business. However, the first year, we developed a new identity and a team structure that allows for communication, that allows for scalability. We looked at their vision of the company, we created structures, and leveraged those areas where they were uniquely different to create a new identity for the team. What happened the next 3 years later was nothing short of astonishing. When we started working together, they were doing around 80 to 100 roofs a year. Not bad. You know, when you know that the average roof is probably in the US $8,000 or so. And they did not know if they were going to be staying together. 3 years later, they're stronger and they're even doing 80 to 100 roofs a month. You do the math. What they were doing in 1 year, now they're doing in 1 month. And that's the power of communication. That's the power of leveraging your team. Very good. Shift number 3. And I call this the secret weapon. Now, I'm about to share with you the secret weapon. I've yet not to create unprecedented results for my clients when we adopt the following process in their current environment. Whether this was a team of 4 or an organization of thousands. But first, I want to give you some important context. Steve Jobs was not a great leader for Apple because he was charismatic and he was disruptive and a little bit of a rebel, or because he was really smart. Many people are like that and they're not making much difference. Maybe he was a great leader for Apple because he never stopped talking about the future and about the impact that their work created. He was completely unapologetic about that. Why is this important? 70% of initiatives fail. And the research on the reason is clear. Change initiatives fail. A new direction, a new vision, because management is not trained to create an inclusive culture. In a different study by Proof Hub, 99.1% of people prefer a workplace where people identify and discuss issues truthfully and effectively. Now keep that in context so that the secret weapon can make a real sense. Ready? The secret weapon is alignment. Alignment? You must be thinking, what do you mean alignment? That sounds too simple. Here's what we mean. We're going to dive into this a little bit deeper. In other words, control the framework that influences the internal conversations of your team. That sounds like a mouthful. Control the framework that influences the internal conversations of your team. Okay, here's what I mean. People who feel good do good. You know that. Since the early 1900s, we have data on this phenomenon. People improve their performance, they feel better about helping others when they feel good. But here's the problem. You can't just tell people to feel good and they just get it. You can't say, here, I know what's missing for you to impact your performance. I got the secret. From this point forward, I want you to feel good. It's not that simple. Also, you can have a bunch of happy people and positive people sinking the boat. You know, creating low performance, not moving upward. This is complex, but we're about to make it really simple. Now let's get closer to what I'm pointing to. Organizations are made up of people, and what impacts their behavior is the way that they communicate internally. I mean, that's what people do. That's all they do. People talk. What impacts their behavior is the way that they communicate internally. Once the leadership team gives a compass to the internal conversations through their mission, vision, and values, then they begin to create an environment for high performance. And that team becomes unstoppable. Let's talk real quickly about the old way to tapping into the potential of your team and create an exciting culture. Now, how many of us have done surveys? Surveys to the wazoo. How do you feel? Do you feel this way? Do you feel this other way? And those surveys create reports, but the reports themselves don't make any impact. It just gives us access to understand what's happening, but it doesn't give us access to transform what's happening. I'm venting here. Take everyone to a fancy dinner. Now this kind of works. People are gathering, they get together, but are they really connecting to the mission? Are they really connecting to the vision? Are they really transforming their own identity, their own values for the opportunity of the future? Sometimes, maybe. Maybe they're just showing up because there's free food. I don't know. Year-end party. I love the year-end dinner parties. I love them. It's not about stopping them. It's just that it doesn't mean it gets people to connect to high performance. Or gas cards and Starbucks cards. You know, thousands of dollars that may not connect to high performance. Create raffle tickets and give away computers and bikes. It's not bad, but are they connecting to high performance? One-on-one executive coaching for one person, and then everybody else still stays the same. It's critical to do those things. But maybe people get closer to the mission, visions of the company. Maybe. This is what I call the cross your fingers and hope it works to create a high-performing culture. Now, there is a new way, and I'm going to walk you through it now. Now, you can do this virtually or in person. This simple process will elevate and transform everyone involved. Now, get close to this conversation. You can miss it. And this is what makes you or breaks you. This is what makes great teams and breaks great teams. Create an occasion to huddle up with your team leaders and their wing person. And together, create the vision for the company. Remember, people support what they create. Now, if there is already a vision for the company, well, then get them to be present to it. Get them to talk about it. People need to say something. They need to see the same future together rather than pulling on their own interests, right? Or if your company is too large, well, then get your team together and create the vision for the department. If there is already a vision for the department, get them to be present. Everyone needs to see the same future. Everyone needs to be on the same page. They need to align and they need to talk about it. They need to say something about it. You see, as a leader, you have an option. You can have the performance of your team be shaped by the past or by the future. Choose the future every time. Once you have that vision, then get together, huddle up again, and get together and create one statement that represents why it is important to achieve that vision. Most of us know that statement as a mission statement. What is the impact to society or the rest of the company? Absent of being present to the impact, absent of creating the impact, you only have people connected to the structures. And structures alone don't create a high performing team. Once you have those two things, then meet again with that team and create the core values. Now, this is critical. This is really critical. The core values are the identity of the organization. They are the identity of the team. Now, if there are already some core values, well then look to see if you need to redefine them. Or just get them to be present to the core values and see how those core values actually are aligned to fulfilling the vision and the mission. If they're not, then they probably need to be recreated. You want to get people to talk about them. A company or a team is just like an individual. It has its own core identity. And absent of creating the core values that are necessary to fulfill the vision, people will do what people do, what is naturally to them, rather than what is best for the team. Now, once you have those three things, you're ready to meet with the team and create a reversed engineered strategy to lay out the steps to fulfill the vision. Keyword here, reversed engineer. You need to stand on the future as a team and then look backwards. Let me give you an example. Maybe you are aware of, if not, John F. Kennedy in 1962 gave a speech at Rice University about what it's going to take a man to the moon, what it was going to take a man to the moon. And if you listen carefully, you can conclude that NASA went to the moon in their imagination, and then they looked down to see what they needed to build. John F. Kennedy famously shares with the audience what was needed to be built that was, at that moment, unknown to mankind. Reverse engineer your goals is a critical aspect. Now remember, if you do it with your team, people support what they create. Finally, regularly meet with your core team at least one time a month to go over each aspect. Even if you think they heard it before, here's the secret. Train and develop your team on the core values, and everything will work. Let me say it again. Here's the secret. Train and develop your team on the core values. This is the glue that makes it all work. Make sense? People have their own identity. The team has to have its own. Very good. Let's jump into shift number 4. Lead with the why. Our famous friend Simon Sinek was right in his famous TED Talk. Let me explain what I mean. Let me give you an example of the power of the why. Imagine 3 men doing exactly the same activity. The 3 of them are hammering a nail into a rock. And you ask the first man, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he says, "Well, don't you see that I'm hitting the damn rock?" Then you ask the second man, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's doing exactly the same thing. But he says, "Well, don't you see that I'm paying my bills?" Then you ask the third man, "What are you doing?" And he says, and he's doing exactly the same thing, but he says, "Well, don't you see that I'm building the Sistine Chapel?" Want to create a boring culture where people can't wait for Friday or for the weekend to come or for their vacation? That's easy. Just tell them what they need to do to get the job done. The secret is not to become a better delegator. A great leadership team is not the one that delegates better. A great leadership team is the one that leads with the big why, the mission in front of them every time. Let me give you a stat that is critical. You as consumers are more likely to have a positive image, trust in, and be loyal to brands that lead with purpose. Nearly 8 in 10 consumers surveyed say that they feel a deeper personal connection to companies with values similar to their own. Consider that those same stats apply the same for your team. Shift number 4 points to a conversation that empowers the identity of your team. Most organizations overlook that most people will do more for an environment, a cause, a crusade, or to be part of something big than they will do for money. The secret to a high-performing environment is to constantly engage the team in the why of your business. I want you to meet Mira. I want you to meet Rita Williams. She's an attorney. She's been practicing law for over 30 years. She loves her team and her clients. When she came to us, there wasn't something wrong necessarily, other than a real but invisible ceiling to her revenue's potential. After looking at her revenue goals, we discovered what was in the way to create a structure for scalability in her practice. Her team got aligned into a purpose-driven culture. Then they produced unprecedented results. After working together, her practice reached for the first time in 30 years a net income of over 7 figures. A net income, not revenues, a net income of 7 figures for the first time. Aligning the team to a purpose-driven culture. Very good. Final shift. Shift number 5. Invest in mentoring. Creating a high-performing culture is like emotional intelligence. It is not intuitive. We all have blind spots. But when you see your blind spots, then you have clarity, and then you have options. People simply just get unstuck. I don't have to tell you this because I know you know it, but I'm going to say it anyway. The best athletes have coaches. The best teams have coaches. The best coaches have coaches. And it is not because the coach is a better player or a better human being. The coach gives them access to their possible blind spots. Jay Abraham, one of the top 5 executive coaches in the US, who I've had a chance to meet by Forbes, by the way. He says, when growing a business, a better idea would be to keep the same number of staff you have now and invest in high upside leverage performance enhancement training, which would result in those same employees becoming as much as 50 to 100% more effective. The talent, it's already in your team. I want you to consider that. The secret weapon, it's already in your team. Now, doctors earn an average of $180,000 a year. Not bad at all. And, they take this home. They train for 14 years, and the average student loan for them is $225,000, really on the low end. Growing a business with the right team will shatter any ceiling to your income. And you don't need to train them or yourself for 14 years. Trying to do that without proper training It's crazy. Trying to train your team on effective communication, on performance enhancement tools. It's crazy. Effective leadership skills to create and maintain a high performing culture needs mentoring. It is potentially costing you millions of dollars to just let it be the way that it is. I know you know it. I want you to meet Neil. Neil Van Dyne, he's the executive director for an NGO in Haiti, responsible for creating water wells. This man is unbelievable. When he came to us, Neil was dealing with engaging all teams, staff, suppliers, partners, government institutions to communicate effectively and create sustainable partnerships with an environment that many will consider difficult or even unworkable. After shifting the framework that shapes the internal dialogue of the culture, the organization nearly doubled the output within 12 months, from 35 to 62 wells. The team started the year at the same average output, realized at the end of the first quarter that they were not in integrity, and dramatically increased output in remaining 3 quarters to create a record year for Haiti outreach. The model that they have now in Haiti is the one that they use to create water wells in other developing countries. Really remarkable work that they have done. Now, today I promised how to leverage the static potential of your team to double or even triple your business, even if you think that they don't have the education or capacity to go after a bold new future. How to save thousands and potentially millions of dollars by having your team work together and fixing poor communication practices that lead to conflict and silos within the company. How to create an environment where people truly enjoy what they do and they're excited for new challenges, so they're willing and open to do what's needed and help you grow quicker and increase profits. How to align your team to work in the same direction and create processes and procedures that allow for scalability and cut unnecessary costs for the company. And how to save you time and avoid stress by connecting people to the long-term vision. And if necessary, they will naturally step aside rather than create a toxic environment around them. Now, what you need to win. I'm going to lay them out for you. Communication is everything. Invest in developing your team in communication skills. Remember, people follow people before they follow a vision. Leverage your team's potential. Remember, this is not about delegating. People support what they create. The secret weapon. Shift the framework that shapes the internal culture of your team. Align them to the mission, vision, and values. Shift number 4, lead with the why. The why of the business has got to be in front of their mind. And invest in mentoring. These 5 shifts alone are enough to propel your business and your vision to achieve unprecedented results with your team. Now you have a choice. You can take the information that I've given you and you can forget all about it. You can keep on being frustrated with your team while they're pulling in different directions and not working together while sabotaging the growth of the company. You can keep losing thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars by having to train and retrain new employees for the same positions and accepting their learning curve as it's just what it is. Losing key employees to the competition because the environment is not retaining great talent, being constantly worried when you go on vacation because you don't know if the business will crumble and the important things won't get done, or if you want a team working together and anticipating problems that can save you thousands and even millions of dollars, an environment that allows for breakthrough thinking and breakthrough performance, your team will be proud of achieving unprecedented results, your team reinventing processes and procedures that keep the business stuck, delivering the same results and taking responsibility for the way they communicate to each other, and your clients finally producing the results that you know are possible for your customers and your company. And ultimately, having a team that allows for you to have time to do what you love and feel free to be with those you love. Here is what I have for you. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your business starting today. Whatever your biggest challenges are, we have seen it and we know how to overcome it. We will get on the phone for about 45 minutes, and on this session, we will work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan to create a high-performing culture and share with you proven methods that will have you meet your most ambitious goals with velocity and ease with your team. The cost? Absolutely free. But here's the catch. You must have a business or a nonprofit and a team of at least 4 people. You must hold yourself to the highest standards and integrity to your clients. You must care about the health and well-being of your team. If that's you, book a session now. You may be asking, why are you doing this? We do this because we love giving back. And we know that at the core of most businesses and organizations, there is a mission to make a difference. And we love supporting business owners achieve their most ambitious goals. Plus, we know that you might want our help to transform your business. If so, we can discuss it and see if it is a good fit for both of us. If not, that's fine too. Now, here's the link. Shortly, there's a link to apply to book a call with us. When you click that button, you will be taken to a calendar page, and then there's a real short form with 5 or 6 questions. Look, this is the best 45 minutes that you can invest in your business and on your team. There is an unlimited potential in the pool of talent that you already have. Allow yourself to turn the tide by creating a turning point. For most businesses, that 45 minutes, it's a turning point in their future. Thank you for your time. It was really an honor to be part of your life today, and we hope to talk to you soon. Go ahead and click on that link and book a call with us. Look, spaces are very limited. There's only so many of us. Take an opportunity now. Thank you. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.